For the sake of privacy, let's use stage names for the individuals in this story. My name is Jake, and I was a college student who loved the great outdoors. Tall and lanky, I had a wild mane of unruly hair that seemed to have a mind of its own, just like my passion for adventure. I had gathered a tight-knit group of friends from various backgrounds, all bound together by our shared yearning for the thrill of the unknown. Our friendship was forged by countless hikes, late-night stargazing sessions, and daring escapades. The motley crew included Sarah, a spirited redhead with a perpetual smile that could light up the darkest of nights. She was our nature enthusiast, always the first to suggest an adventure, and the last to leave it. Then there was Matt, our tech guru and self-proclaimed camping gadgeteer. With his backpack full of high-tech gear and a knack for turning any camping trip into a tech experiment, he added a dash of quirky charm to our group. Emily, on the other hand, was the artistic soul of the group, her camera being an extension of herself. Her passion for photography brought a unique perspective to our adventures, capturing moments that we would cherish for a lifetime. And finally, there was Daniel, our resident history buff with an unquenchable curiosity for the past. He would regale us with tales of the places we visited, adding an extra layer of mystique to our journeys. Together, we decided to go on a camping trip during our summer break, venturing into the heart of the Pineville National Forest. The idea was simple: to strengthen the bonds of our friendship, immerse ourselves in the raw beauty of nature, and escape the routines of college life. Little did we know that this adventure would test the limits of our courage and lead us to an encounter with the unexplained, far beyond the boundaries of our imagination. We chose Pineville National Forest for our adventure. Spread over hundreds of square miles, it was a vast, untamed wilderness, known for its towering trees that seemed to stretch to the heavens, crystal-clear streams that whispered secrets of centuries past, and deep mysteries that beckoned to the adventurous souls. The forest was a canvas painted with vibrant shades of green, its beauty concealing the enigmatic stories that swirled around it. Among the legends, there were stories of strange sightings and chilling myths, tales whispered around campfires and passed down through generations. Some spoke of a creature that lurked in the darkest depths of the woods, a creature that some believed to be a Wendigo, a sinister being of Native American lore, or a skinwalker, a shapeshifter that could assume the form of any creature it desired. These stories added an air of mystery and anticipation to our journey, as we were eager to explore the untamed heart of Pineville and perhaps uncover the truth behind the tales. Our decision to venture into the heart of this wilderness was driven by our insatiable curiosity and a desire to experience the thrill of the unknown. The forest promised adventure, camaraderie, and the chance to test the limits of our courage, far removed from the familiar comforts of everyday life. We were adventurers at heart, and Pineville National Forest held the promise of an unforgettable chapter in our journey through life. As we set up our campsite deep within the forest, an eerie sense of being watched washed over us, casting a chilling shadow over the excitement that had initially fueled our adventure. The towering trees, once a source of wonder, now felt like silent sentinels, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers, as if warning us of a lurking presence. We couldn't shake the feeling that something ancient and malevolent lurked nearby, hidden in the shadows of Pineville National Forest. The very heart of the woods seemed to hold its breath, waiting for an opportune moment to reveal its secrets. The crackling of the campfire, which we had hoped would bring warmth and comfort, instead added a discordant note to the growing unease. Its flickering flames danced wildly, casting eerie, shifting patterns that seemed to mirror our own apprehensions. As the night closed in around us, the once familiar sounds of nature, the chirping of crickets, the rustling of leaves, and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures, now took on an ominous quality. We huddled closer to the fire, our gazes darting into the darkness, searching for any sign of the unknown presence that seemed to lurk just beyond our line of sight. The forest had transformed from a place of beauty and adventure into an enigmatic realm where fear and curiosity waged an internal battle for dominance. The first night was unsettling but quiet, with only distant rustlings and the occasional hoot of an owl breaking the silence. We attributed our initial unease to the stories we'd heard, convincing ourselves that it was just the overactive imagination of a group of adventurous college students. With that rationale in mind, we managed to get some much-needed sleep, though our dreams were punctuated by mysterious whispers that seemed to linger in the corners of our minds. As the days passed, our sense of dread only grew, intensifying with each strange occurrence that stacked up like ominous puzzle pieces. Matt's once reliable gadgets began to malfunction consistently, displaying erratic readings that couldn't be explained by any logical means. Emily's camera, her prized possession, captured eerie, blurred images that defied the laws of photography, distorting the very essence of reality in haunting ways. Daniel, the historian among us, claimed he had glimpsed a tall, shadowy figure moving silently among the trees one evening. His description of the encounter sent shivers down our spines, as he spoke of eyes that gleamed with malevolence, limbs that seemed to elongate with each step, and a presence that exuded an aura of ancient, primal terror. One evening, while gathered around the campfire, we heard it, the chilling sound of a mournful, distant wail that seemed to echo through the forest. The night air turned frigid, and our breath hung in ghostly plumes as the wail grew louder, closer. It was then that we saw it, a grotesque, humanoid figure emerging from the darkness, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly malevolence. Its movements were unnaturally swift as it approached, emitting a guttural, bone-chilling growl. Fear overwhelmed us, and we scattered in all directions, leaving behind our campsite and any notions of facing the creature. The forest seemed to close in around us as we dashed through the night, tree branches brushing against us like phantom fingers. The creature's mournful cry echoed through the woods, haunting our every step. It pursued us relentlessly, and the minutes stretched into hours as we raced deeper into the heart of Pineville National Forest. Our breath came in ragged gasps, and our hearts pounded in our chests as we stumbled over roots and rocks. The oppressive darkness seemed endless, but we pressed on. Finally, as exhaustion threatened to overtake us, we emerged from the forest, gasping for breath at the edge of Pineville National Forest. The night air outside the woods was still, and the creature's cries faded behind us. We were safe, but the terror of that night would forever haunt our memories. The specter of that harrowing night cast a long shadow over us, one we seldom discussed. We made a silent pact never to return to those sinister woods, where the creature, whether it was a Wendigo or skinwalker, had terrorized us. Its memory continued to torment our dreams, a chilling testament to the unfathomable horrors that lurk in the heart of untamed wilderness. It served as a somber reminder that there are enigmas best left unsolved, and the wild places of the world may hide terrors beyond human comprehension. Amidst the tranquil embrace of nature, I embarked on a solo camping trip deep within the heart of the Blackwood Forest, a place that had been my haven since I was a child. The rustling leaves and the symphony of crickets provided a soothing lullaby each night as I slumbered beneath the vast expanse of star-studded skies. The love for camping was a legacy from my father, who had introduced me to the wonders of the wilderness when I was just a boy. It was more than a hobby. It was a connection to the past, a way to rekindle memories of my father's warm smile as we roasted marshmallows by the campfire. Each time I ventured into the woods, I felt his presence, a comforting and guiding spirit amidst the towering trees. And so, under the canopy of Blackwood, I sought not only solace but also a profound connection to the man who had ignited my passion for the great outdoors. On the third night of my exhilarating excursion, I found myself cocooned within the confines of my small, weathered tent. The chirping of crickets had lulled me into a peaceful slumber, and I was blissfully unaware of the looming horror that awaited me. The forest was alive with the symphony of nocturnal creatures, their voices weaving a harmonious tapestry in the moonlit night. The fragrant scent of pine needles and damp earth permeated the air, a testament to the unspoiled wilderness surrounding me. My sleeping bag, warm and cocoon-like, cradled me in a gentle embrace, insulating me from the cool night breeze that rustled the leaves like whispers of forgotten secrets. Above, the inky canvas of the sky was adorned with a dazzling array of stars, each one a distant world twinkling in the cosmic expanse. It was the kind of serene night that made me fall in love with camping all over again, feeling the essence of my father's presence more keenly than ever. I awoke with a start, a nameless unease washing over me like an icy tide. Blinking away the remnants of sleep, I stared up at the thin fabric of my tent. Moonlight filtered through the dense canopy of ancient trees, casting eerie silhouettes upon the canvas walls. The forest had transformed into a realm of shadows and mysteries, the once familiar surroundings now bathed in an ethereal, silvery glow. Each rustle of leaves and hushed nocturnal whisper seemed amplified, a reminder that I was a solitary intruder in this domain of wilderness. The scent of the forest had changed too. It was no longer the comforting aroma of pine and earth, but a complex blend of earthiness and something else, something unfamiliar and unsettling. My heart quickened, and I strained my ears to decipher the source of my unease, but all I could hear was the relentless symphony of crickets and the occasional hoot of an owl, as if the forest itself were taunting me with its secrets. It was then that I noticed it. The sensation of a cold, clammy hand pressing onto the side of my tent, the fingers visible as vague shadows in the moonlight, sending shivers down my spine. The fingers were long and bony, their skin ashen in the moonlight. I lay there, paralyzed with fear, as the hand continued to press and drag along the fabric, each finger like a grotesque dancer in this macabre ballet. Every rational thought urged me to flee, but curiosity held me captive. Who could be outside my tent in the dead of night, and what did they want? As my racing heart thudded in my chest, a voice soft and mournful whispered from beyond the fabric, "Help me." The words hung in the air like a phantom's lament, sending a chill down my spine. It was a voice that seemed both familiar and foreign, as if it had been plucked from my memories and woven into this eerie moment. The forest around me seemed to hold its breath, waiting for my response, and a sense of foreboding settled over me like a heavy shroud. The words sent a shiver down my spine, and I clamped a hand over my mouth to stifle a gasp. My mind raced, struggling to make sense of the surreal situation. Could it be another lost hiker in need of assistance? Summoning courage, I unzipped the tent's entrance with trembling hands. Moonlight spilled into the small space, revealing the forest's eerie stillness. The hand, which had haunted my vision just moments ago, had vanished, leaving nothing but the faint rustling of leaves in its wake. The voice, too, had dissipated, as if it had been swallowed by the very woods around me. As I peered into the moonlit forest, a sense of unease gnawed at me. My flashlight lay within arm's reach, but I hesitated to illuminate the darkness beyond. The air felt charged with an unexplainable tension, and every shadow seemed to conceal secrets of its own. Was this a mere trick of the imagination? A manifestation of my solitude in the wilderness? Or was something more sinister at play in the depths of the Blackwood forest? After letting my eyes adjust to the forest's dark appeal, squinting at my surroundings, my gaze halted at a dark silhouette just beyond the tree line. I caught a glimpse of a child, peering around from a tree. Their smile sent a shiver down my spine as they tilted their head, their eyes glinting strangely in the moonlight. "Mr. Toggle wants to play," the child said, their smile growing even wider. Suddenly, I heard noises all around me, the rustling of leaves and the faint murmur of voices. Figures emerged from the forest's embrace, their hoodies concealing their faces, and they brandished bats and machetes. Panic surged through me. Without waiting another moment, I bolted in the direction I believed I wouldn't be pursued by one of these menacing figures. The forest seemed to close in around me, branches clawing at my skin as I pushed myself to run faster. The echoes of that eerie child's voice and the sinister assembly in the woods still haunted my thoughts, driving me deeper into the heart of the Blackwood Forest, desperate to escape the unknown horrors that lurked within. The forest around me seemed to close in as I sprinted through the underbrush, the child's eerie words echoing in my mind. Branches clawed at my skin and roots threatened to send me sprawling, but fear lent me an unnatural agility. I could hear the sinister figures crashing through the woods behind me, their guttural threats and laughter fueling my frantic escape. My breath came in ragged gasps, and sweat soaked my clothes as I pushed myself harder. Moonlight filtered through the dense canopy above, casting ghostly patterns on the forest floor. It felt like an eternity before I finally burst through the trees, and ahead, I saw the faint glimmer of my car parked at the edge of the forest. Relief washed over me as I reached my vehicle, fumbling with my keys to unlock it. I practically dove into the driver's seat, the engine roaring to life as I sped away from that accursed forest. My heart pounded in my chest, and I couldn't shake the feeling of dread that clung to me. In the days that followed, I tried to make sense of the harrowing encounter, but it remained an enigma. The memory of that sinister child's laughter in the woods haunted my every waking moment, and more troublingly, late at night, I began to hear the faint sound of children's laughter coming from the tree line in my own backyard. I couldn't explain it, and I didn't know what to do. The terror of that camping trip still clung to me, and the line between reality and nightmare had blurred. All I knew was that something inexplicable lurked in the darkness, and I couldn't escape the chilling feeling that it had followed me home. If you ever find yourself venturing into the woods alone, I urge you to be cautious. The great outdoors can be a place of beauty and serenity, but it also holds its secrets and dangers. Trust your instincts, and if you ever hear a child's laughter in the depths of the forest at night, remember my story and take heed. Sometimes, there are things in the wilderness that defy explanation, and it's best not to tempt fate. Stay safe out there,